Thank you, everybody, for coming. Pretty excited about this. I'm Ryan Buckbolt, Cross Country Mortgage. So, give you guys, we're going to have Star Hansen talking today. Star Hansen extraordinaire. So, Star and I go back 15 years-ish?
Probably 12 at least, yeah.
So, Star and I have known each other for a long time. Star has been a speaker at TED Talk. She's been on 30 different TV shows. I think my wife saw her on Oprah, found out, like my wife stalked her, found out that she was actually moving to Scotts Valley, and my wife hooked up with her and like came in and has done like everything. Organizational from my house. My house is like every single, before this, it wasn't like this. Now, everything has a place and everything has a label. So even I can manage myself through the house. I asked my wife, where's the bandanas? And she's like, what's in the bandanas box? I'm like, who has a box that says bandanas on it? So she totally helped out with that. From a business point of view, she's both of our companies, my wife and I have, the alcohol company and the mortgage company. She's gone through, structurally reorganized, figured out flow, figured out how we're going to do things, had each person in their position write down their exact own manual of what their position is. Like, insanely organized, awesome. Went through, she accidentally saw my email one day and saw that I had 15,000 emails and was like, Ryan, we need to fix this. Went through and like redid all my email stuff. So, Star Hansen, you guys enjoy?
With an introduction like that, it's like testimonial. It's so good to be here with you all today. So many faces I know, so many faces I don't know, but I hope we get to know each other today through this wonderful chat. Okay. So, what do you think of when you hear the word clutter? Stress. Stress? Okay. Chaos. Chaos, yes. Anyone else? Burden? Yeah. Do you think of your own clutter? Do you think of your messy inbox? Do you think of your unpacked boxes from your last move?
Piles. I had files.
Piles, yes. What about the room of doom? The room in the back of the hallway where you shout everything when someone drops by unannounced? Yeah. Or to show orders. Someone mentioned that they like to watch that. Makes them feel better about themselves. You're like, oh, it's not so bad. It's not bad, right? Whatever you think of when you hear the word clutter, clutter is a major issue in our world today. And it transcends our physical stuff. It goes beyond the garages and the junk drawer, and it goes into our email. It goes into our productivity. It goes into our teams. It comes into work. It's so rude, isn't it? How dare it? Mm-hmm. The problem is that we are living at a time where we are literally having more information thrown at us than we have the capacity to hold, right? And I mean that with work. I mean that in our personal lives. I mean that in our self-help and development. I mean that politically. I mean that in every capacity. Is anyone not completely overwhelmed by the state of the world right now? Right? We all are. That's chaos. That's chaos as much as your junk drawer is chaos, as much as your overflowing inbox is chaos. We are feeling the effects of it in every single way. And that is such a negative thing because it affects us on a physical level. It makes us more tired. It causes us to be stressed out. It affects our eating choices. It affects our sleeping patterns. It affects our relationships, everything, right? And the problem is if we don't get a handle on it, it's going to take over our lives the way that it has. You can be a totally organized person with a lot of chaos. Because again, we live in a time where more comes at us than we have the capacity or the skill set to manage. So when we're looking at this, we really want to start noticing the impact that it's having in our lives. And this is not new. No one is surprised. No one's like, oh, Star, clutter's bad for me? Shocking. We're going to leave now, right? This is not new. We know that clutter's a problem. We want to do something about it. But why does it feel so difficult? Why do you guys think it feels so difficult? Time. Time? No time?
They don't know where to get it.
Yeah, exactly. Have the right home. Anyone else? Does anyone here feel like they've got organizing down? They're like, they can come up here and join me. A second now. Just checking. Just wanting to know. But we do know that it's a problem. And we do a lot to counteract that problem. And so maybe the problem is not that we don't know it's a problem. Maybe the problem is that we just don't have the right gear to get organized once and for all. Maybe if you just had the right productivity app, you would finally get organized with the latest Bluetooth label maker or a notebook. nothing solves like a notebook, right? Unfortunately, that is not the solution either. We live in an insane world full of tons of resources. The organizing industry is a $12 billion industry and growing. We live in a time of boxes, labels, bins, organizing shows, organizing books, more resources than you could ever possibly need, and yet we're still drowning. In fact, I'd say we're drowning more than we ever have before. Right? Does anyone feel that? Yeah. This is a problem. More stuff is not going to get you there. Right? So if we have all these answers, if we have all these solutions, if we have all this science and all this insight, why are we not getting organized? Why is it seeming to get worse? Well, that's the problem that I've been trying to solve for the last 20 years. My name is Star Hansen, and I've been a certified organizer and productivity specialist for over 20 years. And I help badass, amazing humans just like yourself, who are successful and thriving in so many areas of their life, figure out why their clutter just won't go away. Why, no matter how many times they try to make it go away, it just shows right back up like a boomerang. That's what I do. I deal in recurring clutter. I help you understand the root cause. Because the conversation around organizing and the conversation around productivity is really broken, isn't it? Do more, hustle, work on the weekends, get a second gig, go, 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 go. And look, you all are real estate, right? So your phone is never off. You are never off. You are on constantly. It is exhausting and it leads to burnout. It is so stressful on you all, right? You're in sales, you're in customer service, you're managing complex projects, you're having to deal with a lot of laws and things that are changing a lot. It's very, very stressful. And so when we're looking at this, that's the world that I work in. I don't work with easy people who are just like, just do this one closet. Those people don't call me. That's not my job. I work with people who feel like no matter what they do, they cannot get it under control. And as amazing as they are, after they've been struggling with this for a long time, they all pretty much come up with the same, response for it. They're like, wait a second, is it me? Am I the problem? And they think that they're the problem. They're like, oh, this is a me issue. If only I could get it together, if only I did the right things, then I would finally be able to get over this hill. And I get how that would seem like a positive choice for you today, right? Because we're the one constant in our lives. So it makes sense. And there's something kind of empowering about thinking that we're the problem because, and maybe this is just me, when I think I'm the problem, it feels very empowering because I'm the problem. I can fix it. If you're the problem, I'm screwed. Because it's like, I can't control you, but I can control me. Right? I can't control the world, but I can control me. So there's something really empowering about thinking, it's me. I just need to fix myself. And again, people are always willing to sell you on that, aren't they? Oh, buy this self-help. Buy this program. Do this thing. Get this bin. Right? Someone wants to capitalize on your feelings of insecurity. And it's up to us to start to resource where this comes from. Now, I will say, this might sound a little strange. But in the 20 plus years that I've been doing this, I have literally never met a disorganized person. Never. And you are not the exception. You're not disorganized. I don't care what kind of clutter you have. I don't care what kind of proof you're going to shove in my face. You're not disorganized. You may have clutter in your home, computer, or car, but you are not disorganized. Clutter is not an identifier. You're not a hoarder. You're not a clutter bug. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not missing the organizing gene. Every single person I've ever worked with, and I worked with people from, those that have hoarding disorder, all the way to people who have ADHD, people who have like nominal clutter, everyone has a little bit of organizing genius in them. And my job is to help bring that to the surface. My job is to help grow that because in the messiest thing that you have in your life and home, there's a system that has already been started. Most people just don't finish the system, either because they don't know how to or they're comparing themselves to the rest of the world. Well, Marie Kondo says it should be like this. I'm sorry. No, only you know what's right for you. You are the boss of you. You become your own science project. I would even imagine that if you look, there is order in your chaos already. That if I asked you to go to the clutteriest, paperiest part of your home and asked you to grab me one specific paper, I bet you could find it. You can, can't you? I know it's true because you are not disorganized, right? There is innate organization and systems built in. And for many people, organizing is even illumination of genius. It's hard to believe, isn't it? Did you know that a study was done recently that showed that those who have a messy desk were more likely to be more creative?
Oh.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Bring that home to your spouse. People who had a messy desk, they found, broke beyond norms and conventions. They were the trailblazers, the people who were at the leading edge. You all are at the leading edge. You don't have an easy job. Your job is not to like clock in, clock out. It never ends, and you're dealing with a lot of things, right? You all are the trailblazers. This chaos can be proof of your genius. And on the other side, those who had a neat, orderly desk, and this is just to encourage you to be messy, you're welcome. Those who had a neat, orderly desk were more likely to conform to expectations and play it safe. When has playing it safe ever helped anyone? Generally, not very. I mean, yes, we want safety, but still. Albert Einstein even said, if a cluttered desk is a sign of a cluttered mind, of what then is an empty desk a sign? Albert Einstein was no dummy. He revolutionized physics. He changed the way we looked at time, space, and the universe, all while working at this exact cluttered desk. If clutter was truly proof of one's defects, would one of the smartest people who has ever lived defend clutter and have clutter the way he did? No, he would not. He's no dummy. He knew what he was doing. Chaos is not indicative of a character flaw. Order is not indicative of being productive and successful. Sometimes clutter is just a gateway to your genius. Clutter is happening for you, not to you. It means that it's trying to do something to help you. And if you can do this one tiny shift, if you can shift how you look at your clutter, if you can stop asking yourself, what's wrong with me that I still have clutter? Why is this still a mess? And start to ask yourself, how and what is this chaos teaching me? What is it teaching me? How is it trying to help me? Because you can tell me any bout of clutter that you have in your life, in a friend's life, in your partner's life, clients' lives. I will tell you how it's helping you. I'm the clutter whisperer. It's literally my job. I know no one is inviting me to their house. I get it. I don't take it personally. It's cool. But what I'm on the hunt for is the ways that your clutter is actually helping you. Because if we can figure out how it's helping you, you can get the root cause met and the clutter goes away. And if that sounds overly simplistic, it is. It is. It's just not easy. Simple, not easy. Now, when it comes to the work world, there are 4 main productivity zones that we have to dial into when we're talking about making sure that you are optimized at your most productive space, right? Time, documents, inbox, and tasks. These are the 4 main building blocks. And this is the conversation that most people have about productivity, right? I'm going to get you so organized in your inbox. We're going to inbox zero you, right? But I'm not your typical organizer or productivity specialist who's going to get you to inbox zero for the sake of it or color code everything. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in making sure that you are optimized in these 4 areas and that you understand that if you have an issue, if there's like a bleeding artery here, that you understand why that might be so you can start to meet that need on a deeper level. Because again, I love talking to productivity specialists because there's really only like 2 ways you can organize email. So like, I don't care how many books you read, we're talking about the same 2 ways. Like it's just pick a book that you like and read, it's like, because it's not that creative. It's just stuff. It's like numbers. It's crunching numbers for accountants, right? There's only so many ways that we can do this. And so it's not challenging. It's just a more complicated thing when we're feeling in the emotional side of things. So we're going to start with time management. So time management is, yes, it's your calendar. Yes, it's your meetings. Yes, it's your bookings. It's how you manage your stuff, but it's also your energy. It's how you show up. Now, your focus is the most important thing that you have in this world. Companies are paying billions of dollars to get your attention. Billions. They don't even need your money. They want your focus, right? Think about those ads. Think about the ways that when you go onto social media, they want to keep you there. They don't want you off. Right? So your focus is your time management. That's your energy. And it's up to us to start to curate what that looks like. And we have to do it in a way that really serves us. One of my clients, Linda, she had what I call an aspirational vision board calendar. And it was, it was very beautiful. It had every color of the rainbow represented. You couldn't even see the white of the background because she had scheduled herself within an inch of her life with everything that she hoped to do. Yoga, meetings with the team, deep work dives, picking up the kids, everything was on the calendar. And because everything was on there, she didn't do it all. The calendar is just white noise because when everything is important, nothing is important. So she started dropping balls. She was missing things because who can focus when you get on there and there's 1,000 notifications pinging you? So she started to lose faith in herself. She stopped trusting in herself. And other people stopped trusting her as well because she didn't do what she said. And she did miss deadlines and she did drop balls. And so it wasn't until we really shifted and pulled those things off. We had to not only just pull them off her calendar, but we had to also make sure that they were captured in a way that made her feel safe, that those things were not going to disappear. For many of you, you feel like if it's not on my calendar, it doesn't exist. If I don't have it thrown in my face on Post-it, I'm going to lose it. And we have to create systems that allow you to feel strength and empowerment without needing all that noise in your face. So once she actually started to do that, once we cleared up her calendar, she started to make it to the meeting. She stopped missing the deadlines. She started trusting herself, and people started trusting her more. So our calendar chaos, anything to do with our time, is really teaching us trust. Trust of ourselves, trust of other people, trust from other people, because this is a very synergistic world that we live in when we're communicating. So when it comes to time management, I'm going to, share some screens that show you some of my tips. You're welcome to take a picture of them to kind of take them with you. But one of the most important things that I can say when it comes to time is to match your best brain time to your most important tasks. Now, your best brain time is when you work optimally, when you are firing on all cylinders and your brain is sharp and you're like going for it, right? That's what we're looking for. So for me, it's the morning. You want to book me at 4 a.m. for a call? Fantastic. You want to hire me at 5 a.m. for a speech? Great. You hire me at 7 p.m., I'm going to tell you that you're going to get 2 brain cells and a horizontal star. It's not my best time, right? And I know that. Like, it's a very tricky thing. So I want all of you to think for a second. When is your best time? When is your personal best time? And there's 2 parts of this because I know some of you still have a family and you've got people at home. So one is, when is your best energetic time mentally? And also, when is your best time lifestyle-wise, where you're not getting pulled in every direction? I know a lot of parents wake up an hour early to feel like they're capitalizing on that time or stay up super late, but when is your best lifestyle time? And now I want you to think about, what's your worst? What is the time of day that you are like useless to the world? You're like, either because your lifestyle doesn't allow for it or because your energy doesn't allow for it. You knowing those 2 bits of information is pivotal, and you making sure that you are plugging in your most essential things into your time block. One of my clients, she has a 3 p.m. crash every single day. Every day, 3 o'clock, she's down for the count. And that's so challenging in her because she's like a 9-to-5er, so she has to be there for that time. So what she does is she works with what she knows about herself. So instead of just like checking out for 2 hours and coming back at 6 and working until 9, she will actually just book all of her client sessions that she can in the afternoon because she's an extrovert. So if you put another human near her, she's on, she's excited, she's moving, she's shaking, she's talking. So she does her bookings for client meetings in the afternoon so that she has that kind of plug in to other people. And the days that she can't, she closes her office door, she blares 90s hip hop, and she just dances it out for 5 minutes. And it has a similar effect. It lets her wake up, it lets her focus, it turns her brain off. The point is not making everyone else bend to our whips. The point is to know our own energy and to start to create options for how we turn on when we have to be on, right? I'm not going to ever not book a 7 p.m. speaking engagement. I'm going to have to find ways to wake myself up. And that's what we do. We have to learn how to flex within ourselves. So next is documents. So documents is paperwork. Documents is, like, some of you look terrified right now. Is paper a problem? Yeah, so she goes like, Tara, are you okay? Do you need hugs for anyone? So paper is literally the most stressful project for most people. And I know that most of you probably have shared drives. You probably mostly do a lot of things electronically, which is amazing and wonderful. We will never be paper free. We get mail because we get receipts. There's stuff, right? And it's going to continue to happen. And so we need to make sure that we are creating systems that really work to help support us in that. So one of my clients, Max, he hired me for his home office, and it was a mess. It was always a mess. Like he had said for years, his office just had this, constant state of chaos. So I would come to his house probably every 2 weeks and then organize it, get it set up, and then we'd be right back again. And after 4 or 5 times of doing this, I was like, hey, buddy, what's up? Let's talk about this. What's your chaos trying to teach you? And once we started talking about it, once we changed the conversation from let's handle your clutter, what's wrong with you not keeping up your systems, right? I'm never going to have that conversation with someone. And we started talking instead about like, what's going on here? He confessed to me that they had a break-in his house. And that when that break-in happened, they stole a lot of stuff, including some very sensitive documents. And since then, he had been using his clutter like an armor, like a protector, like a buffer. So him not having clutter actually felt really scary. And it wasn't enough for us to just get rid of the clutter and create organization, because that wasn't the problem. The problem wasn't that he had a clutter issue. The problem was that he had a safety and security issue. And so what we had to do is we had to start creating systems that felt secure and safe to him. I can't tell you how many clients have hired me that we create like hiding holes for things. It's like when we were kids and we're hiding things in like hollow bricks, it's like, because there's a lot around safety. Sometimes it's safety with the outside world, like Max had. Sometimes it's safety within the home. I have a lot of clients who feel unsafe within their home due to kids, due to partners, due to all sorts of other things. Right. So finding solutions that feel like it fits that. And once we had figured that out, once we had solved the fact that he had this very important need for safety, then we could create systems that allowed him to stay organized. And he hasn't needed me for years now because he's just dialed in because the need was met. Now, paper is a tricky thing because paper is teaching us to be present, right? Most of our stress in life comes from the past or the future, right? We're stressed about like, with the paper specifically, we're like, oh my God, I might need this one day. Oh, it's super important. Like, oh, this is really important, right? Like, I might need this Bed Bath & Beyond coupon. They're out of business, but who cares? Because you get it late. Maybe, right? So there's this need for the past. And then there's also this future, right? Like, oh, one day I might actually read through this seminar that I took 5 years ago, but I never went through the notes. Yes. You're not going to throw it away. It's totally fine. You got that information. This is your sign to let it go. So this is the problem with paper, is it's pulling us in two directions. It's causing us to like be in this tug of war with ourselves. Paper's teaching us to be present. Paper's teaching us to be in the now. What do you need today? What do you need right now? That's all you need. I mean, no, that's not all you need to be clear. You all are in real estate. There's a lot you need to keep. I understand. But there are ways that we can manage it so it doesn't feel like it's stressful. Because what happens is, again, I'll say this 1,000 times today, when everything is important and nothing is important. And so what's really hard is most people have this homogenized grouping of stuff, right? Just a giant pile or big boxes or big bags, and everything is the same. It's all chaos. All the paper is stressful. No, there are 5 distinct categories of like what's happening in your paper. And these are systems that you actually need to have. So the first is an inbox. You need somewhere to dump stuff that you don't have time to deal with yet. You need somewhere for your team to dump stuff, for you to look at it some later time. Right? And you do have to look at it. I'm sorry. We can't just put it in the box and ignore it forever. I'm sorry. So you need somewhere for that stuff to land. Then you need an action section. You need somewhere for things to live. Like when something is really important and you're like, you set it on your keyboard or you put it on your chair because you're like, I won't forget to do it there, right? That's that stuff. You need somewhere for your actions to live. You also need a waiting for section. A waiting for concept was coined by David Allen, who's like the productivity godfather. And he talked about this waiting for category, which is you've done your part. There's nothing else you need to do. And you're waiting on someone else to do their part, or you're waiting for a day to come to be able to do the thing you need to do. You're waiting for someone else's action to clear it from your plate or to re-tee it up again. But you need somewhere that's like, this isn't something I need to take action on, but I need to keep my hands on it for a little while longer. Reference is your file cabinets. This is your computer, your shared drive, all of that. So your archive is anywhere that it's full of items that don't have an action connected to them, but you need to keep just in case, right? And notice, if reference is living next to action or inbox, can you see how you feel so overwhelmed? You would just be totally drowning because it's too many things at once, right? Where if you narrow down just to tasks or just to inbox, it makes it a lot easier for your brain. And finally, and the thing that people forget about a lot, is your inspiration. This is your future space. This is the book you want to write. This is the class you want to teach. This is the initiative you want to launch. This is where your future visioning lives. And you need a home for that. And again, we hold on to things in front of us because it's like, well, I don't want to forget about it. Don't forget about it. Just don't put it in front of your face because it's not more important than the 30 things that are on your list first. So we need separate homes for everything so that you feel like you can relax, ease, breathe, calm. All right, now we're going to go into email and inboxes. All right, you guys ready? You thought paper was hard. You don't know. This is the hard one. So inboxes is anywhere you receive communication. Inbox is your social media DMs. It's your, your text. It's your, he's leaving. He's like, I'm out of here. I don't want to talk about my emails. I was like, eat food, please. So this is anywhere that you have messages coming into you. And we are on this thing all the time. This number here, the fact that employees average about 11 hours per week, I think that's way under. Way under. And it wasn't that long ago. That was like in the last couple of years. Because I was like, is that pre-2020? Be honest. You know, it's like, it was more recent than that. And I was like, oh, I think we have a problem. Like, we are in a very unhealthy relationship with our computers and our devices. Like, it's really a challenge. And so when we are talking about that much time, that is 12 weeks a year that you are spending on time. 12 weeks. And again, that's way more, I think. We have to start to collect our energy. We have to collect our focus. Because again, your focus is your most valuable asset. Now, when we look at your email, I would love to say that most of it is important. I would love to say that. I cannot say that. I can tell you that 20%, that little tip of the iceberg, that's your important stuff. 80% is noise. 80% is stuff that you don't need to respond to, or newsletters that you forgot to, unsubscribe from. It's people writing, thank you. It's all that stuff that's like, oh my God. But the problem is, and you're allowed to not write thank you. No one will think you're rude. And if they do, it's theirs to deal with. But the problem is that your brain cannot decipher between what's important in here when you go onto your email. You go on and it's like 200 messages, right? It's like, oh my God, this escalated quickly. And your brain is like, it doesn't know if it's being chased by a tiger or if it's just email. It's stressed and it's overwhelmed. So we need to find a way to shift that. So any inbox clutter teaches us discernment. It teaches you to take the power back. You to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to decide what gets my attention. Because most people, when they start their day, they fire up their computer and they lost the rest of their day. Right. 2 hours later, you're like, what happened? Like you come out of like some sort of like wormhole. Where did I go? And that's what happens because again, it is designed to get you those dings, those notifications. It's constantly pulling you in. And oh, don't forget about dopamine. We love dopamine, don't we? That little feeling that's like, yes, more, yes, more. So when you respond to that person, thank you, it makes you feel good. Like I just closed the loop. Yes, I did. Like you feel good. We do it because it feels good. And I don't want to take away things that feel good from you, but I also want you to take your power back. And I don't want you to feel like you are chained to this lovely thing. So email, phones, digital, again, is designed to distract us. They pay billions of dollars a year to understand our psychology to hook us. Right? That's their job. They want us on there. They want to keep us on there. And it is a great tool. Look, I started my business in the paper era. I do not want to go backwards. I'm not interested in that. I like knowing that everything is done when I leave a meeting. I like my task list. I love the things that technology gives me. So I don't want to lose it. But I want to make sure that I'm not letting them win in this way. And it's not really about anyone winning. It's like, hey, I want my focus. Don't freak me out so much. Right? Like, so if we know, it's not a surprise. Humans are terrible multitaskers, aren't we? We're just the worst. We can't do it. It's literally not a thing for us. Women, I know all the women are like, ma'am, I can't. And I understand. I get it. Yes, we can. Gentlemen, I'm sorry. I know you can't. It's okay. It's totally fine. But we can, but it doesn't mean it's better for us. It doesn't mean we actually get more done. We're still splintered. You have a finite amount of focus and energy. And if you are trying to do this much, you still have this focused amount being spread among all these things. But if you have this much energy and you're focusing on this much, think about the impact you have when you're applying your full energy to that tiny amount. You want to give more of yourself to fewer things. So I will plug over and over and over again, please, for the love of God, turn off your notifications. You do not need them. They are only hurting you. So the biggest problem with your email is not the distractibility or the absolute crap that comes across our messages. It is the fact that email is not a system for you. Email is a system for the rest of the world. So when we treat our emails like a task list, which is what most of us do, we get in there and then we start fighting fires with our hose. We're like, oh yeah, I'll do these things, right? It sounds great, but again, we're losing focus. You have no control in who emails you. I can send all of you an email right now and be like, here are 50 things I need you to do. Like, I'm sorry, even if you don't do them, I am cluttering out your focus. everyone in the world can access you through your inbox, which means that if you are looking to your inbox for information in an actionable way, you are being drugged down a rabbit hole that is not your choosing. And this is the biggest problem when it comes to our email, is that it is someone else's system, it is not yours. Now, when you want to start working on this, these are some of my favorite things, right? Most importantly, to silence the noise. Please just, it takes between 20 and 30 minutes to regain our attention when you have heard a ding. Hearing a ding, whew, you may feel like you're still focusing. You're not back in flow yet. It'll take you up to 20 plus minutes. I think it's 23 minutes to get back in flow. You need to reduce the extra chaos that's going on. Unsubscribe from things, right? Delegate things, like move things along. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. What I want is a re-grounding into the urgency of reclaiming your focus, right? Choosing what you're going to do. And the 2-minute rule, I will just say, for when you look at these later, the 2-minute rule is fantastic. But if all of your tasks are 2-minute rules, you need to do some time blocking. Does everyone know what I mean when I say time blocking? So it's like chunking off time in your day to just literally do whatever it is that you've decided you're going to do. One of the things that makes people feel the most chaotic with their email is that they go in there and they'll look for the big important things. But there's always this like slush puppy things, right? The stuff that feels like it's not that big and it won't take that long and it's not that important and I'll get to it later, but you never take it out of your inbox because, well, I need to do it. Give yourself some blocks of time to just knock out that easy stuff. Right? Every hour of your life doesn't need to be the most productive. Sometimes we do have to do admin things like just random cleanup. That's important for us to do. Also, I suggest the same for unsubscribing. Don't go and try to unsubscribe from 50 things when you're checking your inbox at 8 a.m. on a Monday, right? Give yourself an hour on a Thursday afternoon when everybody's out of the office to go through and unsubscribe. I always say filter by sender and then see who's sending you the most garbage and just unsubscribe. Try to be as focused as you can. Again, we want to give more of you to fewer things. That's how you become more effective and efficient. Now, this is one of the most important things that I will tell you all day, and that is that your email, your paper, and your calendar are not how you get things done. These are channels of information. If you feel like you have a time problem, a paper problem, or an email problem, no, you don't. Chances are 99% sure you have a task problem. Most people do not have a strong task management system that they stand behind. Does anyone feel like they've got like kick-ass task system that they're like, man, this is my thing. I could leave for a month and I will right back in, know exactly what's going on. Exactly. When I go and talk to corporations, maybe I get 5 people raising their hand, right? And this is actually a feasible thing you can do. It's not that difficult. It's just not taught to us. And this is the problem. So you have to know that if you were struggling with time management, with documents, with email, more than likely you're having a challenge with your task system or you don't have a task system. And I am not here to shame. Absolutely, it's okay. We were not taught how to do this. I was not taught how to do this. I started my business in 2004 and it was, I had like a disposable computer. Do you guys remember that? Like it was like, I don't know what that meant, disposable computer, but I know it was like a few $100 and you have this thing and it lasts for so long before we all had like computers everywhere. Mm-hmm. But my systems were paper-based when I started and it slowly grew. And it was a very humbling process for me, just so you all know, because on the outside, I was like the organizing badass. I had my own TV show on TLC. My business was thriving. I was like featured everywhere. And I was like the organizing queen. And I would organize people all week. And I'd be like, yes, hey, you got this. Let me teach you these systems. And come home and fall apart because my inbox was a dumpster fire. It was a literal dumpster fire. I missed deadlines. I didn't respond to people. I'd respond 3 months late. I'd be so embarrassed because as a professional, right? Any of us as professionals, it is very mortifying when we drop a ball, isn't it? It's like, oh, it's not indicative of who I am. I'm so sorry. Let alone if you're an organizer who gets paid to organize. Like, do you trust an organizer who feels like they're chaotic? Probably not. And so I did what I did to kind of keep my head above water. I would work all week with clients, come home, and on the weekend, I would do that like Sunday Scaries deep dig. I'd be like, okay, I'm going to do the weekend email. And I would go through and I would purge and I would get my head above water. And it would all just happen again. It was like Groundhog's Day. And I remember one week we were living in Scotts Valley And it's like the cutest little town. It has like the little 4th of July parade that goes by. And I was like, oh, it's okay. I'm just going to handle my email before I go. And literally, I'm inside handling my email, hearing the parade go by. And I'm like, a literal parade is passing me by. Like, I am missing my life right now. Like, this is insane. And in that moment, I was like, I have a problem. Like, I'm literally inside on a holiday trying to get my head above water because I'm so stressed out. That's not a way to live my life. So I decided in that moment that I was like, I'm done with this. And I'm not just done with this for me. I'm done with this for everybody who's struggling with it. Because if I'm an organizer who doesn't feel like I have my shit together, there's other people who feel this way. So I taught myself. I went and looked, and again, read 3 books. That's all you need to do. It'll be totally fine, easy peasy. But literally, I just taught myself how to organize, and then I rolled that with other people. And it has been one of the biggest things that I could have ever done for myself because it changed the way that I operate in my life. When I watch my clients and I watch my friends scramble around and lose things and feel stressed out, I'm like, there's a better way, man. There's a better way. But it starts with noticing where we have a problem, noticing where we're flailing. So for me, I was like flailing in my email, but it wasn't an email problem. It was a task problem. I had a major task problem because I didn't have a system. I didn't even know that I needed a system. Like before I started my business, I think it was probably like in the 90s, there was the tickler files. Anyone remember those? Mm-hmm. Yeah, super high productivity right there. It was like this file that like has 30 days and then every month and you would like tuck things away and scroll them. It's like, it's like a pre-app version of an app, essentially. So when it comes to our tasks, this is your getting things done. This is like your big projects, your big initiatives, the future ideas, the little tasks that come in for you to handle. And our tasks connect us to our purpose, right? When we have chaos in our inbox, that's a big red flag that you need to reconnect with your purpose. And I don't just mean what's your purpose in your work. Yes, I want to know what your role is. I want to know what you need. But I also want to know, why did you sign up to do that? Why, you all chose to be realtors. Probably because you could make a lot of money with what you probably received was a little bit of time, right? And then you learned it's a lot of bit of time. And so, but you get a lot of freedom, right? So what we're looking at is, okay, I want freedom to be home with my family in the afternoons. Well, if you're stuck on email all afternoon, you're not aligned with your purpose, right? If you're not doing the things that you say are important to you, you're going to feel incongruent and it's going to be chaotic around you. So we want to look at the chaos as awakening our purpose, asking us to revisit that. Now, these are probably the most important things and the most things that people want to ignore. Like these are the things that you can do to manage the tasks in your life. So first, you need to have everything in one place. Everything needs one home to live in. It can be an app, it can be a tickler file. I don't care. Go back in time. I love paper. People love paper. So whatever it is, in one place, everything locked down in one place. And when you write out your tasks, I don't want you writing them as Karina, right? That doesn't mean anything to me in 2 weeks. I'm like, what do I need to do with Karina? What does that mean, right? Call Karina about proposal, right? Oh, okay, call. We want action words in our tasks because it moves our brain into action. Bonus points if you also list the approximate time you think it will take. And look, if you're neurospicing anyway and you don't trust your timetables, it's okay because we have to know what we expect and then what we deliver to be able to start making a change. The clients that I work with who have ADHD, they come in and they're probably 50% of the time that they think they need. But once they understand that they're at 50%, then they just double the amount of time. Some of my ADHDers, they need triple the time. But once we see your patterns, then we work with the patterns. So don't feel like you're broken or there's something wrong with you. I've never had somebody that I couldn't get back into a stronger functioning place. So you want to list at the end, 15 minutes. So call Karina about proposal, 15 minutes. My brain immediately knows what to do with that. When I'm having a busy day, I'm like, I got 15 minutes. I can call Karina right now. Okay, great. Right? Yes to prioritization. Yes to when is the deadline. But I don't want you nuancing so much. Like when I did David Allen's course, it was so great. I was already paperless. I was overwhelmed. I was like, he wants everything. He wants all the deep. It's so exhausting to be so thorough. Do not feel like you need to be overly thorough. You just need to do the best you can. Put the information and the data down that awakens your brain. What I'm looking for is that shot of yes, please, from your brain. So, and another question that I want you to ask first thing in the morning, am I fighting fires or focusing? Because fires are never, ever, 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 ever going to sustain you long term. It's going to burn you out. And if you're burned out, it takes a lot to pull you back. People who are in burnout, it takes at least 2 to 3 times as long to unburn out as it took to burn out. So please guard yourself against burnout. The most important thing that I can tell you today around your productivity systems is that you have to take time to plan out your day. You cannot do and plan at the same time. This is why email is such a pain in the butt, because we go into our email and suddenly we're doing, aren't we? We're not planning. We're not seeing what's there and like evaluating our time and thinking about what's best for us. We're like, oh God, I gotta do this thing, right? We go straight into firefighting mode. I need you to take the time to create a focused process. I need you every single day to spend 12 to 20 minutes deciding, what am I going to give my time and attention to? What gets me today? Because again, your focus is your number one asset. What you give your time and energy to is the most important thing. So I want you to come in, and I will say, I personally do this the day before. I like to do my focus process at the end of the day. So when I go into the office the next day, I already, like yesterday, me already knew what I needed to do. I like having a boss, and I am that boss. So it helps me to have that. But some people want to come in first thing in the morning because a lot can happen overnight, especially with you all, right? Like someone comes back and Ryan has said, hey, they got approved, they didn't get approved, don't know, someone else has made an offer, whatever it is. Whenever is good for you, but once a day, I want you sitting down. I want you looking at your calendar, checking your inboxes, looking at your task list, and then from that information, decide what deserves your attention today. What deserves your time, your focus, and your attention? It is a 12 to 20 minute process. My CEOs who get 200 plus emails a day can do this in 20 minutes, right? And I say that because no one wants to do this. Everyone's like, I'm too busy. You don't even know how busy I am, Star. Let me tell you about the pains and challenges of my busyness. I don't have time. If you don't have time to plan, that means you need time to plan, right? That means that if you are at the firefighting phase of your day, that means that you are doing everything for everyone else and not for your own initiatives. Your goals and purposes are sitting on the back burner, and I want them in the forefront. You deserve to be in the forefront. So this is not optional. This is essential. You can have a temper tantrum. You can whine to me. You can tell me all the reasons why you don't have time to plan. It's the most important thing that you could do from today. 12 to 20 minutes every day to decide what you need to do. Now, the other thing, and this is huge for you all, is every single thing we talked about today is connecting you to people. Your productivity is people management. It's not time management, it's people management. You all help people create the life of their dreams. You're not selling a widget that just like holds their door open. You are selling their dream home, their dream life. You're helping them acquire assets. You're helping them create freedom for their family. You're helping them get out of stressful situations. It is very emotional, very vulnerable. It is not a neutral thing at all. You're not selling like a jacket, you're selling a life. And so it's really important to know and to deal with these things with love and care and compassion, because this is our humanity. When we are dealing with the productivity parts of our lives, you are directly connecting to the humanity of the people that you're working with. It is not a simple thing. You will have a mark in their brain for the rest of their lives. This is a very important part of their life. And it's important that you know when you're dealing with productivity, it's really you being of service to the people that you love at home, to the people that you work with, and to yourself. So I know this was a lot to throw at y'all today, but I'm not going to make you go home empty-handed. I want to give you a great gift, but I wanted to get your feedback on today because it really helps me to know what worked for you, what do I need to do more of, what doesn't need to happen anymore. So if you don't mind, if you all can take out your cameras and point it right at that QR code, a little link will pop up. It'll take you to a survey. If you can just do that, it'll take you 2 minutes. And as a thank you for taking that, I'm going to give you a free copy of my book, Why the FMI School Got Organized. So I'll give you guys just a couple minutes and then I'll come back and share one more thought.
Just to let you know, I've never said you're not over.
Never? Oh. He would never, guys. He would never. He's like, here's how we get approved. I know that right about the way. Once you're done, go ahead and put your phones down and look on us so I know you're done. But take your time. Anyone just scrolling Instagram right now? Be honest. Just joking. I'm scared to go on social media right now. Every day, like a new hellscape being laid out for us.
So I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So, what if you have a manager that doesn't, or a boss that doesn't want you
What are we
to?
talking about, Gene? I'm sorry, you didn't tell me to drive it.
What I know is why you buckled this law, but it's a big Is that right, Ryan? You can put the money in my bag.
Just kidding.
We can open it up now to questions. Thank you for the segue. We can open it up to any questions that you all have. Ryan, you can come up and chat with me if you want to. Also, I don't know if you have anything exciting to share, but I'm here for your brains. You can ask me questions about your own productivity, your own clutter, your friends' clutter. You know.
So you mentioned earlier on that if you needed to find a specific document or a piece of paper that majority of people can find that stuff, I can't.
Yeah.
And I spend a lot of time just trying to figure out where things are.
Yeah. What? So when you go to look for it, what feels like it's the biggest challenge? Like, what's the feeling in your body that comes up?
At times sick, that I'm wasting time.
God. So you're looking for this thing while feeling this growing panic that you're doing the wrong thing. You shouldn't be doing this. It's taking too much time. It's a waste of energy. How is this happening again? Flogging yourself probably. Is that accurate?
Kind of.
Yeah. You're not alone. Most people do this. So this is a little bit like has anyone ever been on a diet? And you've been so good on this diet, right? I know we all lived through the pandemic, so we'll just assume we all are. I'm still working on it. But so you're on this diet and you want to be perfect, right? But you go to a birthday party and someone is like, this is the best birthday cake I've ever had. And your resolve to be perfect is like, oh no, or they're like forcing it. You should just have some cake, have some cake. And so you have a bite of the cake, which honestly would not derail your diet whatsoever. Never. But then you're like in this head game. You're like, oh my God, this is the worst thing I've ever done. And you go home and you eat like a sleeve of Oreos and a bag of chips and like, I may as well make it worth it. Like, that's what this gentleman is describing that we do, right? He's looking for a piece of paper. He goes to look for the paper. He can't find it immediately. He has a story in his head. Sorry, I'm making you the example. This is like so many of my minds. There's a story in his head about what that means about him. His anxiety starts to grow. I shouldn't be doing this. I can't believe I have to do this. And when we're in an anxious, stressed out state, our brain does not work well. We are absolutely the worst version of ourselves when our brain is stressed out. The best thing you can do is step back, take some breaths, calm your body down. And it's not easy. And when I say calm your body down, I mean it like a separate entity. Ask your brain to just take a break because your brain has a story. And most of us, if we've ever dealt with clutter, It's not just that we struggled with our clutter, it's that other people had a lot of opinions about our clutter, didn't they? Oh, let me tell you how to get your clutter better. Can't believe you're still dealing with this. This is so we have a lot of stories. And so what we have to do is suss out the differences. It's really important to say, okay, great. Yes, we want to build systems that work for you, right? Like those 5 categories of systems are great, right? It's like, is this active? Is it archive? Is it something that I haven't had a chance to get to? Because even separating a giant homogenized group of stuff into 5 different categories can be a lot easier, right? When I walk people through sorting through their email or through their inbox and even their email inbox, think, what do you think the first thing is that I have them do?
Declare bankruptcy.
Declare bankruptcy. Close, so close. Anyone else?
Set up those categories.
Yes, I have them categorized. So if you have a paper inbox, I don't let you take one thing out at a time and be like, what is this? What does this mean? Because then what happens is this. Then they're like, oh. What? And then I'm like, where are you right now? Like, come back to me. But if you take it and you're like, things to scan, mail to open, things that I need to do, I have no idea, possible garbage, right? And you bring everything into those categories. Now you're looking at potential garbage, mail to open. You know what's next, right? It's so much easier. So we need these categories broken down in simple, easy ways, and we need that for ourselves. Is that helpful in any way, shape, or form? Okay, good. Sorry. Thank you for being a really good example.
So it's the same as 5 different files instead of just 1 or 2.
Yeah, or 12. Like literally when I do email with people, the first thing I say is sort by sender, right? Because now you may have 200 senders, but that's easier than 20,000 emails, right? Like when you're looking and you're like, oh my God, like then you can see that like Ryan has sent you 20 amazing messages on his, and you're like, oh, I need to do something about this. And the Container Store is emailing you nonstop and you're like, unsubscribe, I don't need you anymore, right? So this is like, we want everything to be sorted into smaller categories that we feel like we can breathe. If you look at something and the first feeling is overwhelm, it's too general. You need to like focus it down a little bit more.
Yeah, my partner, she gave me a really good tip was like on your Gmail, you'll have those tabs like categories.
Yeah.
Categorize it by active escrows, by clients' names. And there's always like 8, 9, 10 people involved. And all those will always go to that category. So you're not just like, all right, what did that escrow officer say? What did Ryan say? So it's all in one, and she just clicks it, and she has all her clients' names and all the escrows all lined up.
Yeah, and try to build your systems in a way you don't have to break them down, right? If you did if you did active escrows, but then you had to clean that out every month, that's not helpful, right? But knowing that even though there might be 2,000 things in active escrows, you can look by date and you're like, okay, we've been how long does escrow last really, right? Within a time structure what you're looking at. So it really helps to be able to group down, niche down into ways that actually feel more functional. By the way, I'm going to pass these around. These are bookmarks and business cards. It's my old Tucson address or my phone number. I have it 415 now, but Mama just needs to get rid of the business card. So you're welcome, everyone. Who calls anyone anyways these days? Who else has a question or a thought? Yes, ma'am.
So being an age that we're at, we're managing our parents' stuff.
Yeah.
Any inspiration for helping your tasked with managing it, but then they won't let you.
Yeah.
It's
hard.
Yes.
You're talking about autonomy. You're talking about so most people, when I talk to people who are in their 70s, 80s, who are, I'm assuming that's probably what they're in, right?
Yeah.
When they're dealing with that, it's not just that they're dealing with stuff. They feel like they're losing their life. They feel like especially the women both actually feel like, but do you know who I was? I want my kids to know that I wasn't just a grandma. I want my kids to know that I had a career too. I want my kids to know. Are you Ellen?
Me?
Yeah.
Maureen.
Okay, you look just like a woman I know named Ellen in LA, and I was like, did Ellen move here? I'm sorry, I'm staring at Ellen. I'm sorry. Okay, I can stop being distracted now. So it's really important to get their buy-in, right? And this is with anyone. If someone's clutter is bugging you, please, for the love of all that is holy, do not go and help them without their permission. Don't do it. It's so violating. It's so painful. A friend of mine had someone house sitting for her, and they decided to clean her kitchen Oh, their friendship is gone. That's gone. It's such a violation because that is assuming that they have a problem, that there's something wrong. It's only a problem if they say that it's a problem, right? Like people live in all different states of chaos, and it is up to you to decide what it is for you. So I think the most important thing is to sit them down and say, look, I want to help you. This is a big job. What works for you? And it's so difficult because if they don't want to help, if they don't want to work with it, you're left with a very big job. You're done with an estate sale at the end, and it's a lot going on. So take the time to communicate and make it on their terms. And when I work with someone who has like a physical challenge, I will let them sit and I do the legwork. So I'll make sure that they know that they're driving and I'm simply the vehicle, right? Like they're in charge. And so letting them know like, hey mom, do you want to work on books this week? Like what books would be right for you? And one of the things that you can think of, and this happens a lot when people get moved to like housing facilities, right? You have to shop from your stuff, right? It's not like, what are you going to get rid of? That is so stressful. That makes me feel anxious. And it's not even my stuff, right? What are you going to get rid of? Nothing, please. Thank you. What would you like to bring with you? We have room for 20 books. What are your favorite 20 books? What are the 20 books that would mean the most to you? And grabbing those 20 and putting them down. Okay, now look at the rest of them and just see, are there any more that you feel like you really need to bring with you? They feel the peace that they already have the most important ones, right? Be careful if you let people touch things. They get very connected to these things, right? So if you're trying to get them to let go of a lot of stuff, hands to yourself, folks. Let me show you. No, allow me. So, but really involve them in the process and think of it like shopping. What is it that I want to have with me? One of my clients, their mom was this really special person. She was very creative and very interesting. And she was purging everything until the day that she died. And the day that she died, she had gotten rid of the last paper in the last file drawer in her house. And then she died the next day. And I was like, right? That's some clarity. I was like, that woman came to like move mountains. But I think the biggest thing is how do we get them to be interested in it? Right? Like, how do we get them to have buy-in? Because we don't want them to feel like we're taking away their power and we're doing it to them. This is for them. It is for you, but it's for them and it's their life and it deserves to be honored. And a lot of times they just want to feel like they matter. They want to feel like their life was meaningful. They want to tell you the stories. Half of my freaking day is listening to people's stories and I love it. I want your stories. I want to know how things work in your brain. I want to understand you. That's my job. Like, it makes me so happy. And when you are going through things with your parents or your kids, part of it is getting to know each other. Like, I always fall in love with my clients because we are having this very deep conversation.
How do you manage all the forms of communication? Like, I have some people want to call me on Teams. I have some people want to call me on Slack. I have WhatsApp. I have texting. I have phone calls. I have 2 email boxes.
Yeah.
All that.
How do you want to manage?
I want it all in one spot.
Yeah, so
just one thing that would take in everything.
So stop acknowledging any other forms except for that one form. If I message you on WhatsApp and you never respond, I'm going to stop messaging you on WhatsApp. I'm going to just only go, I'm like, oh, he responds to text. I'm going to go to text, right? Like, and you can also tell people, I only respond via text. Or I tell my team, I'm like, hey, look, if it's an action, you better email that to me. Because I do inbox 0. So I never want extra crap in my inbox. So if you want me to do something about it, if I'm sitting at my desk and I can then add it to my task list, that's going to happen. If you need a quick approval, if you need my quick response on something, you can text me. Those are the only 2 ways that I'm going to have a conversation with my team. And they know this. And so they've been trained. If you need to put it in your email signature, great. Reduce the amount of communication that you have to do. Hey, I only check my email once a day at 5 p.m. I'll get back to you within 48 hours. So people know, so they're not feeling super anxious. If it's an emergency, text me, and then just literally where we put our focus is where things go. So if you are responding to everybody, they're like, oh, Ryan's available. And you are so available, Ryan. You are really good at making yourself available, as I'm sure a lot of you are, because this is the industry that you work in, right? You make sales if you're there to show someone the house, to do the thing, right? You have to be there, but teach people what you need, right? And do it in a selfish way for you. And I mean that in the best possible way. Like, I'm a Mac girl. And so I do not want you can text me anything because I can do it from my computer and I'm fast at typing and I'm way faster than I am on my phone. So I'm going to do 90% of my stuff on my computer. So I want the text and I want the email. I don't want to deal with the WhatsApp plugin or any of that. So like, you're not going to get me on. You're going to be so disappointed with my WhatsApp results that you're never going to want to do that again. So you get to train people. As cruel as that sounds, but that's how we learn. Natural consequences.
So what do you like?
Say again.
Text.
Oh yeah, Ryan wants taps. Anything else?
And then I'll call back. I'm gonna talk.
It's so funny because I don't want text because it'll disappear down low in
Yes.
text.
That's why I don't. That's why I say no sending me any tasks on text because
Email.
yeah, exactly. Email it to me because that's not going anywhere until I clear it. But yeah, so just train your people. Really be clear with them when you do that intro call with your clients. Hey, just so you know, I'm super responsive over email. Send me anything by email and I'll get back to you within 24 hours. If you text me, things happen.
You I miss.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
I was just saying texts are the only thing that I ever miss.
Yeah, totally. And it's because you can't create a task from that. You can't like highlight it or unread it for long term, right? The same thing with social media DMs. It's just if you DM me, I'm like, good luck to you.
Yes, I don't even see those. I don't even get notifications. And all of a sudden,
Totally.
I go on Instagram, like, oh my god, all these people have been jamming.
Yes.
I'm like, oops. Because I don't want that.
Yes.
You know, if you know, yeah.
You can set up autoresponders on there. Hey, best way to get me is this.
Yeah.
Be careful of scammers. You don't want to be giving out your personal information for scammers to start calling you. But just be aware, hey, I respond best to email. Hey, I respond best. And so people know. Because again, it's not about people reading your mind. It's about how do we create systems that everybody understands? Because we're all, again, it all comes back to people and personalities, and we're serving each other. The other end of that task is a person. The other end of that message is a person. And so know that we have to communicate. If you and your partner come home every day and nobody's talked about who's making dinner, it's going to be chaos. Either no one's eating or everybody's eating or who knows. So you have to take the time to say, hey, what's our jam tonight? What's going on? We still have 10 minutes-ish. We really have 15, but yes, sir.
So a lot of us work with baby boomers that are downsizing and right-sizing and decluttering. It can take months.
Yes.
Is there any best practices that you have for dealing with customers so that, you know, you're not the offensive part of it or, you know?
It's so, yeah, it's so hard. And for most people, it is very delicate. Right? For most people, when they talk about their clutter, it is very emotional. It's very sensitive. They take it personally. I mean, if I say something to someone like, "Oh, you know, those with hoarding disorder," I don't have hoarding disorder, and it's like, I didn't say you did. My friend, calm it down. Yeah. But it's very easy to trigger for people. So asking them like, and really, if someone gets into escrow and then they have 30 days to vacate their house, or who knows, right? You meet somebody and then they want to list it in a certain amount of time. It is rare, just as an honest to God reaction, it is rare for them to get really organized before that house gets listed. It's going to be a showcase. It's going to be a showing. It's going to be boxing stuff up to deal with later. And that is when the urgency comes in. Then they're like, but I really want to deal with it now. And sure, give them a lead time. Like, sure, you have a couple weeks where you can do like a real authentic version of it. And then let's give you 2 to 3 weeks of needing to box stuff up so it looks pretty for the showings, right? Like, we have to do what's realistic. Because I've never had somebody who's like, I have a client and they're listing and can you get them organized? And I'm like, not the way I work. I am deep. I do. I mean, obviously you can tell. I'm going in for like your soul. I want your soul to be organized. Like, I don't just want the closet. I want the whole thing and I want it to never be disorganized again. So I can't do it in 3 weeks. I can make it look pretty in 3 weeks. I can make it. And having that separation, like, I know you want to get organized, but there's being organized and then there's making it pretty. And then asking them again, I think it's always putting it back in their court. I want you to get the most you can get from your house. And it's going to be best if it has as streamlined look as possible. That's gonna take X amount of time. And there's organizers who do estate sales who can do this. There's organizers like I can come in and do, like there's people who come in and do this. And it really does help because people get lost in their own mind. When it comes to their clutter, they start exploring their life and they start telling stories and that is beautiful. But if the goal is, I want to really get organized, that's very different than I want to list this house and get as much as I can from it. Yeah.
Do you ever see people get very depressed after seeing such an empty household after everything's organized?
Yeah, it's very, certain people too, it feels like a part of them was cut out. Like it feels very emotional. Like I've had, if we look at archetypes, right, people with their clutter, it can be very archetypical. And so I've had people who are like, merchants. And when we pare them down, they feel naked, they feel vulnerable, or they feel really scared. And again, if we look at my other speech that I give as my keynote, which is like how clutter is helping you like in the home, we are looking at very deep ingrained patterns here, very emotional things. Like we talked about Max today, and the fact that he used it for safety. If I just took Max's clutter and then was like, have a good day, that's why it came back every time, because he was freaking terrified. Terrified. And it wasn't even that he was thinking about it. His nervous system, again, we are like little biological bunnies, and his nervous system did not feel safe without the clutter, and so we had to find ways. And so there's ways of being organized without being a minimalist. Those are not the only options. One of my clients hired me, and she was very clear that she didn't want to be a minimalist. She was very clear that she wanted to be a maximalist. So we fit every single inch of her walls with jewelry, every single inch of her bookshelf had books. It was fleshed out to the inch, right? And it was beautiful and marvelous. And some people would say, oh, that's clutter. It's not clutter to her. That's what she needed. But we didn't have things blocking the floor anymore. We didn't have things blocking the doors. There were boundaries. And clutter is nothing if not boundaries, right? When we do organization, it's boundary work. It's deciding how much and where and how.
Going off of what Walter had mentioned, about the baby boomers, does it sometimes make sense to have an iPod, what is it, storage pod, kind of sent?
Yeah.
And then have everything transferred to the iPod and kind of give them that extra time?
For sure. I mean, that can be great. A storage unit, the pods being sent out, for sure, that just gets it out. I see this a lot also when someone has to like change out their flooring, or they have a flood, or all sorts of things can happen where you need a quick turnaround for things out of the house. And absolutely, that can be super fast. If you have the time to be a little bit OCD about it, if you can box things up, label it on all four sides with what room it came from, the date, the general contents, it doesn't have to be perfect, or do a number system, number all four sides, and then on like an Excel spreadsheet or a Word document or a piece of paper, just write out what the approximate thing, what room it came from, so that when you're looking for something, you can find it again. Part of it is, again, we have to kind of suss these things out, right? It's not about getting organized, we're talking about making the house free and clear to be sold. And then we're also talking about how do we find things if we need them, because organization is not really about chucking things away so that it looks good now. Organization is how do I find that later? That's actually the point of organization. And so when you're, and this is why we have a job, right? In spite of the fact that we have a million organizing solutions, because I have to hold your emotional complexities, what our current goals for the house is, where it is that we're going, how are you gonna get to this later, what's really necessary. There's like a lot, and this is why people get really lost, and it can be very helpful. And even if it's just a friend who's coming over to help you, it's so helpful just to feel like you're not alone with this, because it is very overwhelming. I saw another hand somewhere. Maybe it didn't. No.
I have a question, just.
I'm not sure, and I gave it to my mom, and you're making me miss it right now.
What to put those piles, like once I have my 5 stats, okay, this is this, then where do I put those papers in? Just leave them in piles somewhere? That doesn't
No,
that
so-
looks messy to me.
Yeah.
What do you suggest for us to put that paper in?
So we're gonna use an example. So there's two different styles. So there's two different, I'm gonna give you two examples of what's possible. So one is your inbox, and then the other example I'm going to cite is a random box of crap. That you're like, I don't know what this is from, it's from a long time ago, so I'm gonna give you two different
Because I
examples.
have that. I have that
Yeah,
in
perfect. So we'll start with that one,
Okay.
because it's more complicated.
Yes.
So with this one, we have this random box of crap from God only knows when, right? And what I want for you when you're organizing is to be able to enter and exit freely. I don't want you to be like, I've gotta finish this whole giant project.
Okay.
I need you to be able to like work on it for 20 minutes and be like, this is too much, and walk away and come right back and have it not be derailed because it's somewhere else. So you wanna set up an area in your home that will not be touched, if you can do that. Clear, you don't have to organize anything, just shove it on the floor, right? Clear a little surface where you have that box of stuff that you need to work on. Have a trash, a recycle, a shred, little bag in there for you. Then I want you to get a separate box, a banger's box. And I want you to get some Post-its, and I want you to get some hanging files and some manila files. And every single thing that you pull from this box, the first box, I want you to ask yourself, what is this? And within 5 seconds, you should have an answer for me. I don't need you to spend a lot of time. We're looking at high level. This is a receipt. I don't need to know what the next 5 steps are. I just want high level, what is it? I think it's maybe trash. It's an old MapQuest, map. It's a handwritten note. It's a whatever it is, right? Those become your letters. Become your categories. Then you take the Post-it, you write on there. Sorry, I keep hitting the microphone. It's like right here. So then you write on the Post-it, like, handwritten letters, and you put it on the top of a manila file, and you put that in there, and then you put that in the empty banker's box. And you move everything from here over to the now filling up banker's box, and everything will be in category. Now, we don't do it slowly. We do it super fast. I don't want you thinking about it. I want it to be like you're working on someone else's stuff. It doesn't belong to you. It's not emotional to you. You don't care about it. Boom, 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 boom. What is this? Right? It's not the action, it's what it is. Then you come through and you would go through and you'd be like, okay, let's look at all of these receipts. Oh, this is old. Then you're going to go through each one.
You don't do that at a time.
No.
Just throw all the receipts in there.
You will save 70% of your time by doing it this way.
And Baker box is that like a
It's like a brown box, like one of those
They
the file
just-
boxes.
But you put a file thing in it?
Yep. And
Okay.
the files fit perfectly in
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
And it's just, and what that allows for you to do is you're only taking up this much space, right? That's all you're taking up. So it's not dominating your house. You're not going through everything. You're not leaving something unhandled for a really long
So
time
from one box to another box,
Yes.
but an organized box.
in an organized box. And then what you do is you go through it. And again, probably 90% you're going to get rid of, right? Once you see, if you go through it one piece at a time, you're like, oh, I might need that receipt. That's super important. But if I have that other one, well, now you're looking at all the receipts at once. You have the full story. So you want that, you want it to expedite it. Now, if you're looking at your email, or I'm sorry, your inbox, right? So it's a more recent thing, or maybe from the last few weeks or the last month, things have been landing. When you have that, I want you to just, there's no second box. You're doing this all at one time, right? This is part of your weekly productivity session. You're taking everything out, a pile for things that need to be scanned, a pile for things that need to be submitted for whatever, a pile for bills to pay, whatever your piles are. Again, high level, you're looking at it like it's a stranger's. It's not personal to you. It's just, what the heck is this? Boom, 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 boom. You shouldn't have more than 5 to 10 categories based on that box, right? Okay, great. Then you come back through and you're going to look at each category and you're going to move it to completion. If it's scanning stuff, go scan it. If it's filing stuff, go file it. Don't put it in a pile to go file later. You're going to handle it right now. This might, at the beginning, it might take you a while to do it. You might need an hour or so to do this process. When you've been doing this every week, it's going to take you less than 10 minutes. Right? Because you are not letting things build up. You're handling them as you go. And then what happens is when you're actually doing this regularly, you become super succinct with your systems, right? Like scanning doesn't become a pain in the butt because you're not like, where's the cord and what's this and why is it not connected? And right, because you're having to do it every week. So you're refining those systems. And so when it comes to your inbox, you want that in one fell swoop. Now, if something happens and you have to leave and it's chaos, you just crisscrossy them back and shove it right back in your inbox and you'll deal with it next week and then you walk away, right? We don't need perfection. Done is better than perfect. And so it's letting it be like you need to be able to always walk away. And the other thing too is you want to make sure that your systems serve you at a diminished capacity. Meaning that if you have the flu, if your kids are homesick, if there's another pandemic, right? If your energy is at 70% or 40%, I want your systems to work for you at that point. I don't want a perfect system that you have to be at 100% in order to function. Does anyone feel like they're at 100% today? Same. I am exhausted. I am so tired. Like, I am so tired today, right? But like, we still have to continue forward, right? I love that commercial from a long time ago where the person comes in and they're like, I'm so sorry, I'm sick. And it's like a toddler. And he's like, you're not getting off work today. Yeah, like, this is your job. Right? Totally. So I love that one. But we want our systems to be for us when we're operating at 70%. Because if you're at 40%, right? If you're sick and you're having a hard time, you just got back from traveling, you reaching for 70 is way easier than reaching for 100. Now, if your systems are all at 100, you're not going to last. You're going to have one trip, one hard day, one exciting day where you don't want to focus on work and suddenly you feel derailed. You need a system that really flexes with you and is gentle.
Is that in your book? All that you're saying? Or
Yes, probably. I'm like, that's a great question.
Fabulous.
Yeah, I'm like, but I was like,
have it in writing.
what a great question. I'll give you one right now. You can look. That's great. You're awesome. This one.
Yeah.
You're welcome. And I try to fit
Yeah.
everything in
Yeah.
my brain. Yeah. We have time for maybe one more short question. If anyone has a last minute. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a good app for task management?
Yes. Yeah. So I will say it's whatever one you'll use. So for me, I'm Mac, so it has to be Mac compliant. It has to work with my Mac. I want to know that it works with my assistant. So that's another prerequisite that I require. I need it to work on my phone and my computer. So that's my baseline. So because of that, I use Microsoft To Do. That's the one that I use. There's so many out there. Brian, what do you use right now? Oh,
I use that one.
oh, you do. You
Yeah.
Microsoft To Do. Yeah, it's great. It's like it's there. It shows up. It's somewhere that I can bring up. You want to be able to easily drag between things. Like we could do a whole session just on task management. Like that's. I mean, any one of these we could just do a full session on how the heck do we organize that thing because so everything gets put into there. And then for my systems, what I do specifically is I have all my business and personal together because I'm an entrepreneur, so it all is mixed in together. So I have a main dumping ground for personal tasks, a main dumping ground for business tasks. Then I have a folder that I call this week. It doesn't really mean this week. It just means like what's teed up next. I just like the word this week. So this week is like anything that's teed up for this next upcoming time. And then I have a folder, and these are all like kind of project folders, so lots of tasks can live in these. Then I have Monday through Sunday, right? Because I don't work 5 days a week. I work every day because I'm self-employed. Yes, you are. So I have Monday through Sunday. And so when I'm sitting there and I do my weekly review, so what I showed you all today was my daily review. I do a weekly review as well. I look at my calendar, what's coming up for the next couple weeks. What is it that what's coming up that I need to be ready for? And then I actually drag tasks to each day of the week. So that when I come in on Monday, I already kind of know what my week is shaping up like. And I will adjust it and refine it that day for the next day to make sure I'm spot on. But I will continue to evolve it. And if I continue to not do something, it either goes into my general tasks or it gets removed. Right? Because if I'm not doing it, it's probably not that important. And I hate to say it, but you're never going to get it all done. There's always going to be more to do than time to do it. So take that pressure off of yourself. I hate to tell people when they like first start doing their task management, they're so excited. They're like, oh my God, everything's in there. And they're very connected to it. And I'm like, you're going to do 30%, maybe. So if you think about that, for every 10 things you keep, you're only actually going to do 3. So that's how we want to shape it. And so I'm not saying don't keep those things, keep all of them. But what I want you to do is I want you to keep the ones that are not active and urgent out of those main categories, which is where your focus is going to be. Because again, you all control your focus. You control what you give your time and attention to. And that's the most important thing that you can do is choose how to curate your day, your time, your focus, your energy, because you are the boss of you and no one gets to be the boss of you but you. So thank you guys so much for being here with me today. I'm so grateful. Thank